portion of Fox 43 AM Live is sponsored by Endeavor Private Wealth.
Chris McGee, managing partner at Endeavor Private Wealth, is joining us for our latest segment on investing. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Chris, there's a lot going on in the economy and the markets. Isn't there always?
Yeah.
But one topic that remains prominent in the minds of consumers and investors is inflation. So what can you tell us about the current and perhaps future state of inflation?
Dane, thank you. It's good to be back with you and our viewers. The most recent reading of the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, registered 0.3% increase in January on an annual basis. The PCE increased 2.5% from a year ago, and core PCE, which excludes the more volatile food and energy, increased by 2.6% from a year ago, the lowest annual increase since March of 2021.
Okay, that sounds like progress. What has so many people on edge?
It's not always about what people are experiencing currently, but rather what they expect in the future that drives sentiment. The most recent survey from the highly regarded Conference Board indicates that the average 12-month inflation expenditures surged to 6%. The cause for such heightened expectations may be a combination of concerns over persistent or sticky inflation, the noticeable jump in key household staples like eggs, and worries about tariffs, whether imposed or threatened, will drive prices higher.
What other factors have contributed to inflation?
The inflation we've experienced since the beginning of the COVID pandemic has caused a wave. Consumer demand rotated around services to goods, only to be accompanied by price increases associated with supply chain and manufacturing disruptions. The labor markets experienced significant tightening associated with job losses and early retirement, which caused a shortage of workers, contributing to the wage inflation and attracting people from a dwindling pool. Demand for housing also increased, while supplies has not kept pace due to higher costs and reluctancy of homeowners to relinquish the lower mortgage rates that they've locked in.
So to fight inflation, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates.
Yes, quite significantly until September, when it reversed its position and began to lower rates. But it's currently on hold as inflation has remained stubbornly above its 2% target. Unfortunately, we've avoided the harsh trade-offs between higher interest rates, job losses, and reduced incomes often required to combat inflation.
And going forward, what will you be watching?
Well, KSNT first and foremost. However, regarding the economy, I'll be watching the consumer expectations because they can play a big role in shaping the financial behaviors and influencing decision making that may affect spending, savings, investing, borrowing, housing, and employment.
Expectations that can have far-reaching implications. What should people do if they're concerned?
I believe individual investors would be well served by consulting with their trusted financial professional to gain their perspective on the underlying economic conditions and, most importantly, discuss how their investment and wealth management plans are currently positioned and if any adjustments may be appropriate to keep them on course.
Well, Chris, as always, we appreciate your thoughts and considerations. And everyone, to learn more about Endeavor Private Wealth, visit EndeavorPW.com.
The preceding portion of Fox 43 AM Live was sponsored by Endeavor Private Wealth.